Ignorance is not bliss, okay? Stop believing that nonsense. It's actually pretty expensive, man. Today, I'm going to show you guys a recent wholesale deal I did that was saved by some knowledge and one small clause in a contract that I have, a clause that most of you probably do not include in your contracts, but it saved this deal from getting dragged. And at the end of the video, I'll give you a copy of this contract that absolutely needs to be in your arsenal. This is Mike Hill, the Wholesaling Titan, and I show new wholesalers how to get their first deals as fast as possible, how to reinvest those profits into a sustainable business model so they do consistent deals every month and they quit that 9 to 5. Check the description below where you can access my new updated wholesaling course completely free. All right, so this deal was a long time in the making. I think it took about 9 months to close this one. Now, don't get worried, right? I know some of you need a deal like yesterday. Some deals you're going to close in 2 weeks, and some of them will take longer. But it's kind of like during the waiting time, you just forget about them. And when closing comes around, it's like, oh shit, unexpected money. I kind of forgot about that one. But basically, this was a probate deal where we needed court authorization for the sale, and that's what held us up for months. So, like a week before the closing, my transaction coordinator hits me with an email that says, "Hey, was the permit issue closed out?" Now, if you guys don't know, an open permit is a permit for a construction or renovation project that's been issued but not yet finalized. So, this can be an issue with safety and code compliance. And while your contract is contingent on free and clear title, a permit issue does not affect title. Now, I learned this the hard way years ago. I actually have a detailed video on this where by not having appropriate language in my contract, it cost me like 10 grand just to get the deal closed. You guys should watch that video. I'll add it to like a card somewhere. But the short version is that I didn't have any language in my contract concerning permits. And when it was time to close, they were open permits, and I told the seller, I said, "Hey, we got open permits. You need to close these." And they said, "No." So I went to the buyer and I said, "Well, you got to take it with these permit issues, and you're just going to have to take care of these." And he said, "No, I'll just walk." So I could have gone back and forth and haggled to death, but at the end of the day, both parties were really stubborn, and I basically had to give up about 10K in profit in order for the buyer to sign a whole harmless agreement and take this property with all of those issues. So that takes me to my next point, which is so many of the problems you guys encounter could be avoided if you anticipate them and deal with that potential before the problem arises. Otherwise, it's kind of like jumping out of an airplane without a parachute and saying, "Well, what do I do now?" Like, it's too late. A lot of issues would be avoided by making your contracts airtight. So in this case, Stephanie told me, "Hey, was the permit issue closed out?" And I hit her back and I said, "Hey, Stephanie, thanks for sending over the preliminary HUD. As far as the permit, it would be ideal if it was closed, but if not, I think we're still good to go. Assignment contract, page 2, states that the assignee will accept with any open permits." And then the language there: "Assigner will not be held liable for these issues. Assignee agrees to hold the assigner and its agent harmless for such. Assignee agrees that property is being purchased with any and all open or expired permits. It shall not be required to be closed by assigner, seller prior to nor after the closing date. Assigner and or a seller shall not be held liable for any open expired permits either prior to or post closing of the property." Okay. And then I sent her a screenshot just reminding her of what was on the contract. She hit me right back. "Hey, Mike, forgot that this was being assumed. I'm just pending lien search. Should be back this week." And boom, right? Because of that, the buyer had to take it because they signed a legally binding agreement. In this case, the buyer didn't push back, but if they did, and this has happened to me in the past, they have to accept it. And then remember, I have a non-refundable earnest money deposit, so I get to keep that anyway if they walk. So we were able to go ahead and close that deal. Otherwise, I would have needed to go back to the seller, have them fix everything, get it inspected, close everything out, which could literally tack on extra weeks to the closing, maybe jeopardize the deal. Or I'd have to convince the seller to give up a price reduction and then negotiate with the buyer to take the property with those issues in exchange for the price reduction. And man, it just gets messy everyone gets annoyed, deals can fall apart. And look, you don't need to learn things the hard way. So let me hook you up with this assignment contract. Not only does it have language that protects you from permit issues, but it's a lot tighter than any of the generic assignment contracts out there. The biggest benefit is going to be that you do not disclose your assignment fee to your buyer when they sign, so they can't haggle with you about your fee. Uh, they'll figure it out only at the time of closing, but by that time, they've already signed a binding contract with no inspection period. They've put up a non-refundable earnest money deposit. But there are also a lot of other protections in there. One, it ensures that you get paid even if they don't close by not requiring a separate authorization releasing deposit funds. Releases you from liability, addresses potential HOA issues. It serves as an NDA. It allows any profit from price reductions negotiated after assigning. It says that that goes to you and not the buyer. And there's a lot more stuff in there, okay? So this is not even something that I recommend you have. I'm gonna say that this is mandatory. Okay, you need this. You guys can download it using the link in the description below. It's free to download. There's a video on that page with some more details, kind of walking you through the contract and how to fill it out. So go check that out. Use it. Enjoy it. If you guys have more questions, if you need help with this stuff, I have one-on-one coaching calls available for free. Now I do a few each week. It's really my way of giving back to you guys. Again, it costs nothing. Now, selfishly, yes, I use it to kind of fish for new YouTube topics and I fish for joint venture partners, but the call is free. Jump on, talk to me. I will look at what you're doing, kind of give you a diagnosis, walk you through what you're doing wrong. I will answer all of your wholesaling questions. I'll give you a plan on how to best move forward. I'll show you what to do next. It's tangible. It'll be actionable. I have a 100% positive review from everyone who's gotten on these calls and given me feedback. Again, that's 100%. And this could be the difference between getting a deal in 30 days versus spinning your wheels for the next 6 months. Now, right now I'm taking these calls personally, so there are only a few spots a week. It is limited, first come, first serve. So if you want one, make sure you go to wholesalingwithmike.com/call. Do it ASAP. All right. Now, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Let me know what video you want me to make next. Again, I'm always fishing for new topics. Smash that like and subscribe button for me. I'm looking forward to bringing you guys a lot more content. Make sure you get your free wholesaling course in the description below. And I'll catch you in the next video. All right. Peace.